Chris Level here, Mr. John Harris. Keys to the Game brought to you by Wentz Orthodontics. We are in Phoenix, Arizona. It is warm. It's going to be warm for this football game. But take me through what your thoughts are about what the Red Raiders would need to do to get out of here with a win.
I like to talk about the offense, and it's hard to find a lot of fault from the opener, particularly when Patrick Mahomes was in the ball game. You roll up more than 700 yards of offense, 633 through the air. You throw the ball to 17 different receivers, and Patrick has a career high in terms of total offense. But Stephen F. Austin really put the Red Raiders in position offensively to throw the football. They loaded up the box and said, we're going to let Mahomes beat us with the pass, and he did. Red Raiders don't expect Arizona State to do that. Expect a lot of different looks. You're going to have to find out if you can run the football. Can your young tackles on the outside hold up against Arizona State, because they're best on that defensive side, again, at the defensive ends. So can you run the football some? Can you continue to throw against a team that has been suspect against the pass? And you hope that Patrick Mahomes can do that. But I think a lot of this, particularly getting up early and kind of setting the tone that, hey, we're here to win this ball game, will be on the offense and Mahomes to move the ball down the field.
And to your point, you didn't run it well last week, and I think that's kind of SFA dictated some of that, although I think that you look inside and say internally some guys maybe didn't play as well as we would have hoped. But if you remember back to Fayetteville last year and you set the tone early, which is something you touched on, that's what you did well early on in that game with DeAndre Washington. And that travels. That running game will travel. And you touch on Arizona State's pass defense. They were dead last in the country last year. I mean, dead last. Gave up 3,400 yards through the air, I think 337 a game. And so in the first game, though, they dropped folks, and they really played a lot of base coverage. They didn't take as many chances as they typically do. So I think that they're basically going to see what Texas Tech's running game is all about, minus DeAndre Washington.
Well, and I've said all along that the absence of DeAndre Washington is huge for this team. I don't think Red Raider fans appreciated just how important he was to the offense, because not only is running the football in back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but he could protect the passer, and he could catch the ball out of the backfield. That's all why he's in the NFL now. Justin Stockton didn't really get many opportunities. It just wasn't a game that allowed for that. So yes, how do the Red Raider running backs respond on Saturday night is a big thing in whether or not Texas Tech can win this football game. I think offensively, to be effective, you're going to have to run the ball some.
And they have talked a lot in the offseason about why they do so well offensively and why they just play so much better at home compared to on the road. And yes, this happens with most teams, but it was really lopsided last year. I think Cliff Kingsbury will tell you, I mean, we're putting up about 60, at home and about 30 on the road. And so, but I think you'll see a much more serious football team early on, because I think the way he's put it throughout this week is, we used to kind of feel our way before we kind of get going, and we just can't do that anymore. But here's the other thing, and we saw this in the opener. You tackled extremely well. They have worked on that all offseason, and we saw what it looked like in the opener. And I think Andre Pipkins was the best example of that. Jordan Brooks, some of these guys, these newcomers. This is what you'll have to do well with this team, when you're playing Arizona State, because they have a mobile quarterback. They're going to try to run the ball, and they've got a couple of 220-pound running backs. This is their bread and butter. And with a young quarterback, they're not going to put him in a bunch of tough spots. They're going to hand it off, and they're going to find out how much better are you. It was last week, was that an aberration, or are you really better?
I think the one thing that is a plus for Arizona State when they run the football, particularly with the quarterback, is you've got extra blockers out there. And what I saw against Northern Arizona was a team that was very, very good at getting a hat on a hat. I mean, they blocked people when they ran the football. Red Raiders are going to have to get off blocks. But like you said, against Stephen F. Austin in our opener, the defensive front set the tone. They did not get pushed back. They were the ones pushing at the point of attack. So if they continue to play well up front, the Red Raider defense has an opportunity to shut down the Arizona State offense and get the ball back in the hands of the Red Raider offense.
These matchups are fun, and who knows, maybe in 10 years, maybe it's a conference game. You just never know with college athletics, especially the Big 12. This has been Keys to the Game, brought to you by Windsor Orthodontics. Make sure you turn the TV sound down, turn us up. Brian Jensen, Chris Level, John Harris, Texas Tech Sports Network.